She had nothing, no home, no family, just a tattered backpack and a heart full of hope. Yet, when a stranger came up short on a bus fare, she gave him her last dollar. What she didn't know, that man was a multimillionaire CEO, and that one moment of kindness would rewrite her entire destiny. If this story moved you, don't forget to like, comment, share with someone who needs hope today. Subscribe our channel Kindness Talks for more real-life inspired emotional stories. Rain trickled down from a gray sky like it, too, had run out of tears to cry. On the broken sidewalk near the Detroit bus station, 14-year-old Amara Johnson tightened the fraying drawstrings of her worn hoodie and clutched her backpack closer to her chest. She hadn't eaten in nearly a day. Her sneakers, too small for her growing feet, were soaked through. But her eyes still sparkled with something rare for someone in her situation: hope. Amara had been homeless for nearly a year. Her mother passed away from a heart condition the city hospital didn't treat in time. Her aunt, her only remaining family, moved across the country and cut off contact. Since then, Amara had been sleeping in shelters, alleyways, and occasionally inside an old, abandoned van behind a mechanic shop. She spent her days reading borrowed library books, helping elderly folks carry groceries, and saving every cent she found or earned through odd jobs. She dreamed, foolishly perhaps, of becoming a writer one day. But today, something unexpected happened. As she stood near the bus stop, clutching a paper bag with half a sandwich she'd saved, she noticed a sharply dressed man in his 40s arguing with the driver at the bus door. "I'm telling you," he said, "my wallet's gone. I had it this morning. Maybe I dropped it, please. It's just a few miles to my office." The driver, tired and impatient, shook his head. No fare, no ride. People walked past. Some glanced. None stopped. But Amara did. Without thinking, she stepped forward and pulled a crumpled dollar bill and a handful of coins from her pocket. She had earned them earlier by cleaning the windows of a corner shop. It was all she had. She held them out silently to the man. He stared at her, soaking wet, too thin for her age, but standing proud like she was giving him a treasure. "You don't have to," he began. "I want to," she said softly. "You need to get somewhere, right?" He hesitated, then slowly took the money. "Thank you," he whispered. "What's your name?" "Amara," she replied with a tired smile. "Don't forget me." He got on the bus, still staring at her. The door hissed shut, and the bus drove off through the fog. She didn't expect to ever see him again, but he would never forget that moment. That night, Amara found her spot behind the mechanic shop already taken. A couple with 2 young kids had curled up there. She didn't have the heart to move them. So she walked through the freezing night toward the downtown library, one of the only places with 24-hour restrooms. She sat under the porch, shivering, rereading pages from a water-stained novel she'd nearly memorized. The next morning, she woke up to the sound of people talking nearby. A woman from the library staff gave her a look, half pity, half irritation, but said nothing. Amara washed her face in the bathroom sink and made her way to the soup kitchen for breakfast. But all the while, her thoughts drifted back to the man on the bus. Meanwhile, across the city, Graham Walker, CEO of a billion-dollar tech company called Walker Dynamics, sat in his penthouse office, still clutching the crumpled dollar bill Amara had given him. He had, indeed, dropped his wallet in the back of his Tesla that morning, but he hadn't realized it until the bus stop. Graham could have called a driver or hailed a cab, but in that moment, he panicked. The girl, Amara, could have walked away. She didn't. And that haunted him. Something about her eyes, the way she spoke, the way she gave without asking brought back memories of his own childhood. Graham hadn't always been wealthy. He was raised by a single mother in a small trailer in Alabama. He knew what hunger felt like, what it was to have nothing but dreams and grit. He did a quick search, trying to locate the girl, but didn't even know her last name. He replayed the CCTV footage from the bus station. He made a few calls. Still, days passed, and he couldn't find her. Until one rainy afternoon, he visited a youth shelter downtown on a hunch. And there she was, sitting cross-legged on the floor, reading aloud to a few younger kids with a broken copy of Charlotte's Web in her hands. Graham stood frozen at the doorway. She hadn't noticed him yet, but something in him shifted. She wasn't just a kind girl. She was a light in a dark world. And Graham Walker knew what he had to do next. Amara blinked twice when she saw the man standing at the shelter doorway. He wore a navy blue coat, clean loafers, and held a briefcase in one hand, but it was the same man. She recognized him instantly. "I remember you," she said quietly, putting the book down. He smiled. "I remember you too." He sat down beside her. "Do you still have dreams?" She nodded slowly. A few. I want to write. I want to have a home. And maybe go to school again someday. He took a deep breath. Would you let me help you, Amara? She hesitated. No one had ever said that to her and meant it. Why? She whispered. Because you helped me when you had nothing. And I've spent too many years building companies and watching people pretend not to see. You didn't look away. You changed something in me. And now, I want to change something for you. Over the next weeks, Amara's life transformed in ways she couldn't have imagined. Graham arranged for a legal guardian, an old friend of his mother's, to take Amara in temporarily. He got her back into school and ensured she had a safe, warm place to sleep. But more than that, he gave her opportunity, a chance to intern at his publishing subsidiary, weekly writing mentorships, and therapy sessions to process her grief. Amara flourished. She wrote essays that made her teachers cry, poems that won awards, and short stories that reminded readers what kindness really meant. She still wore her old hoodie sometimes, just to remember where she came from. But her eyes? They shone brighter now. Years passed. At 17, Amara gave a TED Talk titled The Dollar That Changed Two Lives. It went viral across the world. At 21, she published her first novel. The dedication page read, To the man who saw me when the world didn't, and to all the girls still standing in the rain, waiting to be seen. And Graham? He sat in the front row, tears in his eyes, clapping the loudest. He hadn't just changed her life. She had changed his. Sometimes, the person with the least to give shows the greatest heart. Never underestimate an act of kindness that might just awaken a miracle.